They call it the Mirror Reach, a part of the ocean where the wind never blows and the waves never rise. It's not a place for the brave, it's a trap for the busy mind. Captain Caleb didn't want power, he wanted peace. He found the Echo core in a shipwreck that had surrendered to the silence. But Caleb didn't find loyalty, he found total, crushing isolation. In the Mirror Reach, there is only one rule. If you speak, you are forgotten. It started with the sound. Overnight, the ship's wood turned a ghostly, bone white, and the rigging became brittle and silent, like the branches of a dead tree. Then, the curse reached the crew. They didn't scream, they simply stopped. Their skin became smooth and white, like polished limestone. Their eyes rolled back, revealing empty, pearl-like orbs. We weren't dying, we were being erased. The white ghost was no longer a vessel, it was a museum of forgotten purpose. The transformation was a quiet, suffocating descent into stillness. Caleb watched as his masts became rigid columns of pure, shimmering pearl, etched with the silent prayers of the damned. Our sails became delicate sheets of crystallized sea spray, beautiful but unable to catch the wind. When we fired, it wasn't iron. It was a release of freezing silence that cracked the hulls of enemy ships with the sudden, absolute end of all noise. A violent freezing of the soul. From the heavy pearl depths rose the Sentinel of silence, a colossal mountain of fused shipwrecks and the bones of 1,000 kings, its surface smooth as a frozen tear. It didn't breathe. It absorbed all sound within miles. It watched as Caleb reached for the core, his hand already a brittle claw of calcified memory. The Sentinel was the librarian of this static ocean, and it was here to file Caleb away with the rest. We were no longer pirates, we were echoes. When the Royal Navy tried to invade the Mirror Reach, they found a storm of quiet. Our cannons launched spheres of pure, freezing stillness. I watched as their majestic frigates didn't burn, but simply cracked. The metal cooled instantly, turning their hulls into solid monuments of calcified memory. They died in absolute silence, their final expressions of order frozen forever in a mask of pearl dust. It wasn't a battle, it was an eraser, deleting them from history. The ocean around us was no longer water, it was a thick, viscous sea of liquid pearl and black memory. Caleb walked across the deck, his footsteps sounding like a final prayer on cold stone. Beneath the surface, he could see the history of the world's stillness, Viking longships and Spanish frigates, all turned into a single, massive reef of white coral. He realized he wasn't a captain. He was a curator of a museum that no one would ever visit. A king of a world too perfect to ever live. The core demanded a final sacrifice. It replaced our warm breath with the cold, absolute end of all thought. Our minds stopped thinking. They began to vibrate with the frequency of a dead planet. Caleb embraced the static, letting the pearl dust fill his eyes until the world was nothing but a beautiful, terrifying blur of light. He found the peace he craved, but it was the peace of an echo. A world where you could own everything, but you couldn't speak a single word to tell anyone about it. The ship began to sink, but it didn't fall through the waves. It tore through them like a stone through paper. We descended past the skeletons of calcified leviathans and silent cities of solid pearl. Each fathom was heavier, the pressure of the sea acting like a massive, quiet hand, crushing our frames into dust. We reached the core of the abyss, a place where the gravity of the earth is made of pure stillness. We weren't at the bottom of the sea, we were at the very center of the world's silence. Caleb sat on a throne of fused white bones, his eyes now twin pools of glassy ink. He was the sovereign of static, the king of a realm where everything is beautiful and everything is silent. He could hear the ringing of every coin and the groaning of every chain in the deep, but only in the cold halls of his own mind. He had found his treasure, but it was a treasure that anchored him to the dark forever. He was the wrecked pirate of the silent fleet. I am the wrecked pirate. I have seen the fire, the ice, the rust, and the electricity. I have seen the flesh and the gold. Noteper ja sam stal bezmolvium. Do not seek the echo core, sailors. Peace is not found in stillness, but in motion. The ocean is meant to be noisy, wild, and separate. I am the hum on your horizon. I am the gap in your memory.